So some defenses are just a little bit different than others. Some are a little faster, some talk a little bit more. Some defenses are hot garbage. These five are some of the best defenses I've ever played in my life. I can't even imagine in my brain as a little kid playing against defenses this good. But I had the opportunity to do it, and here are my top 5 best defenses. There were some really great defenses I played, and these jokers wouldn't let me do a top 20, so here's the 5th best defense I've played, the 2015 Minnesota Vikings. They were like top 5 in scoring defense. They were stingy in the red zone. These guys were unbelievable. Linval Joseph, Everson Griffin, Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr, Harrison Smith, who's one of the greatest players of all time, okay? He's unbelievable, okay? You had Xavier Rhodes. I'm just gonna stop there. And guess what? They were in Zimmer's double-A scheme. 4 weak, 4 strong pressures. Where are they coming from? Quarterback saying, "Hut, here they show it." And then you check the protection and boom, they bring it the other way. They were a smart defense. That's why I thought they were unbelievable. They'd listen to your protection calls. You'd make a mic call here. They'd make a little casino check. Yeah, I knew the word, okay? And you'd bring the other guy, all right? And so what I started doing is I started pointing over here, but I started saying that guy's number, and they would get confused. Anyways, hey, they were unbelievable on defense, okay? It was a chess game always going against them. Great coaching, great players, unbelievable to play against. And Linval Joseph hit me so hard one time that I almost forgot that it happened until they just reminded me, okay? He hit me so hard, I was stumbling, trying to get back up, went to stand up, yaga! I thought my helmet was gonna fly off of my body. Great defense. They did beat us that year, but all around, very stingy, very tough, not only mentally, but physically to play against the 2015 Minnesota Vikings. Okay, number 4 on my list. It's crazy that they're number 4 because playing them was an absolute headache, all right? Not only scheme-wise, but just who was on this team, just full of all pros. At number 4, the 2018 Baltimore Ravens. Okay, they were, I think, number 2 in scoring that year. Unbelievable, and they were top 5 in everything else, passing and running. A lot there, you find some defenses they'll be number 1 in rushing, but they're number 32 in biggest plays allowed in the pass game. You know, it's hard to find one that is top 5 in everything. These guys were unbelievable. You had Brandon Williams, who you couldn't move with a small USA tank, all right? You had Terrell Suggs, Zadarius Smith, very high-paid, highly qualified pass rushers, all right, that with a coach that knew how to get them one-on-one. C.J. Mosley making checks, Eric Weddle playing safety, which I saw one of their fancy blitzes they had, and he checked out of the play from safety. He looked at the mic, he looked at him, they checked the whole thing and brought it the other way. These guys were unbelievable. Earl Thomas, okay, was hiding behind the middle linebacker so you couldn't see him. Earl Thomas would also stand right in front of the play clock. This dude was unbelievable, like trying to do everything. Jimmy Smith, Marlon Humphrey, these guys were unbelievable at what they did. Their scheme was not simple. They didn't just line up and say, "We're better than you." Even though they could, they said, "Look, we have all these dudes. We're going to show you what you think you want to see, and we're going to bring a blitz from a mile away. Then we're going to show it to you that you're going to think this, and we're going to bring it that way. And then we're going to bring this, and then we're going to drop all our great pass rushers, rush 2, and now you're throwing into guys that are dropping 9. Wink, I've said this before, is one of my favorite coaches because as a quarterback, mentally frustrating. So not only did you leave these games when you would play the Baltimore Ravens mentally exhausted, but physically exhausted because when they hit you, they were trying to send a message every single time. So 2018 Baltimore Ravens definitely have to be on this list. At number 3, the team that everyone says cheats, the team that they have all of these, let's just get to the facts. The 2017 New England Patriot defense. Unbelievable. Any Patriot defense you pick, okay, in the last 20-something years, all right, when Bill was there, top 10 in everything, and number 1 about 19 times. I don't know if that's true, but their defenses were unbelievable. Defenses win championships, man. They were unbelievable. These guys would play man coverage, they'd bracket, they'd put their best guy on your third best guy and double everybody else. And you were like, dude, I got to throw to matchups in favor of them. Bill Belichick knew how to position his players, put them in certain positions. He knew how to do these things. They were so well coached. Bill Belichick is one of my favorite coaches to go against. My respect for him is at the all-time high as it could be. They had Lawrence Guy, Trey Flowers, Kyle Van Noy, Landon Roberts in the middle knocking everybody out, all right? Duron Harmon, who would get a pick to seal every football game I've ever seen, all right? They had McCourty, all right? Gilly Locke. They had Malcolm Butler, the Super Bowl hero. These guys were ridiculous. Where do you want to throw the ball, all right? Where did I have to throw it? It was tough, all right? So these guys, they gave up a lot of yards that year. I remember we were like, man, we can move the ball. We got to be good in the red zone. These dudes, when you got in the red zone, gave up absolutely nothing all year long. Points per game, unbelievable. They were all about taking away big plays and all this kind of stuff, but they figured it out along the way. But just playing against all of his schemes, I just remember that one in particular. Those teams were really impressive to me. The way that they never lost their leverage, the way that they would always fight to do what they're supposed to do, where they knew where their help was, all of those things. A lot of defenses give this stuff up nowadays, and it's unbelievable how they do it. You know, you're like, he's got outside leverage, this route shouldn't win, and the guy cooks him. The New England Patriots, every time I played them, and especially that year, did a fantastic job of knowing where their help was, playing their leverage, just funneling things where they wanted to funnel it. They knew what you were seeing, and if you were a smart quarterback, they knew that you knew this, and they knew that you were going to have to throw it here, and it was a matchup in their favor. So they made things extremely, extremely difficult. So had a lot of challenges against Bill, had some victories, had some really fun ones, had some really tough losses, but it was always a mental challenge going against the best mind in football. This is where it gets tough. Are they number 2? Are they number 1? I'll let you guys debate that down in the comments with Austin, who runs our stuff, all right? But for me, the 2014 Seattle Seahawks Legion of Boom defense, what the heck is even that? This was ridiculous, all right? They played cover 3 every snap. They said, we're going to rush the passer with these guys. They'd bring Earl Thomas every now and then, all right? They'd bring a nickel every now and then. But for the most part, they said, we're going to rush. We're going to meet at the quarterback, and you got to throw against Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Bruce Irvin. Good luck, guys. Good luck. And so going into Seattle, which is one of the loudest places there is, and then playing against this defense was an absolute headache. But when you sign up to play quarterback in the NFL, which this was my rookie season, okay, I had to see Rex Ryan and see all these crazy defense coordinators. Oh, and hey, by the way, right after the year that they led everything in the world in defense, hey, guess what? Your rookie year, you get to go to Seattle and play against these guys. What an opportunity, what a challenge. I remember throwing a back shoulder on Sherman in the preseason, going down the field. We run the ball in, hitting a go ball, hitting another back shoulder for a touchdown later in the preseason. I'm feeling myself. I'm like, yeah, I can play these guys. And we get there, and they had a little bit of an eye-opener for us at the beginning of this game. Sherman picks me off one-handed on a free safety pressure. It was an insane start to the game. And then we started coming back a little bit and threw a couple of touchdowns. We were an onside kick away from hopefully getting the ball and going to do it again. That game, I'll never forget, man. I got to play against that defense, and that was like a moment as a rookie where I was like, man, there's a lot of work that I need to do. There's still some room to grow. But, man, I did some good things in this game, and if I can do that, man, maybe I can make a career out of this. So 11 years later, here I am talking about that day and talking about that defense. These guys were unbelievable, man. Bain, nose tackle, was nose-to-nose with your center. I didn't even know that was legal. I thought he was offsides the whole game. Like, he can't stand that close. I can smell his breath from where he is. And he's way too big to be playing nose guard. Or why am I out here with him? And then you got Michael Bennett. Okay. Then you got Bruce Irvin. You got Cliff Averill. Like I said, the secondary. Bobby Wagner making every tackle, which he did in college too, if people would watch the WAC, Western Athletic Conference film, which apparently Seattle did and no one else did. This guy's been all pro every year of his life. All right, but he made every tackle. But I'll never forget, man, playing those guys was a great opportunity for us and a lot of fun. But they are definitely number 2 on my toughest defenses to play. Who was the number 1 defense that I played? Let me tell you, it was the 2015 Denver Broncos. Let me say it this way. If they don't allow Chris Paul to go to the Lakers with Kobe Bryant, how in the world do you allow DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller to be on the same pass rushing side of the football? If you care about quarterback health and safety, you would have never allowed this, NFL. Clearly, you didn't want the Lakers to win another championship because of that. Well, you clearly let these guys do it. And so we got DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller. I got Malik Jackson and Derek Wolfe. I got Brandon Marshall, all right, Danny Trevathan, Darian Stewart, TJ Ward. I got Aqib Talib. I got Chris Harris in their primes. I got Bradley Roby, who's a first-round pick, who they would put to the field and say, yeah, try him over here because you're not going to throw it at anybody else. They rushed 5. Okay, all one-on-ones. So you got to get the ball out quick, quarterback. Oh, and by the way, Chris Harrison, Keith Lee, they're playing man-to-man coverage. Oh, and by the way, TJ Ward is man on your tight end. Yeah, good luck, fellas. All right. Anyway, I remember playing these guys, and I remember actually we won the game, which was crazy. But they go on to win the Super Bowl. They were #1 in everything. But I remember after that game, I called my brother. I was like, dude, these guys are the stickiest in coverage, and the pass rush gets there so much faster than anyone I've ever seen in my life. And so thankfully, we had a great day. Our offensive line had a great day. I'll say we had a good day because I think we scored 15 points and won the football game because Khalil Mack decided to have 19 sacks in the game. All right, thanks, K-Mac. Love you, bro. But that defense, for sure, the best defense I ever played. And it wasn't just that year. It was all throughout the years, man. They were unbelievable. They'd rush 5, play cover 1, dare you to throw against their guys in favorable situations for them. Oh, and hey, when they got the lead, they were going to play 2-man. And yeah, good luck, all right, with that pass rush. And so they made it extremely difficult. I've always said this, Chris Harris was one of the best slot corners I've ever played against in my life. He was extremely smart. Any pass I ever completed on him, his hand was right here and the ball was caught right here. Like, he was unbelievable. So I have nothing but respect for that defense. Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware. I see DeMarcus every year at the ACC American Century Championship in Lake Tahoe. And DeMarcus, every year, I tell you, we were sitting there this year and I popped my neck and I looked at you, I was like, that's your fault. And he laughs every time, like it's funny. So I appreciate those guys. I appreciate that defense. A lot of good friends that I have on that defense, but a lot of battles over the years. But that defense was the best defense I ever played. Absolute headache, absolute nightmare. They could all win their one-on-ones. They were all highly paid. They were all Pro Bowls, all pros, and they were all Super Bowl champions. So that defense, #1 on my list. Thanks for watching, guys. Hey, here, check out our socials up here on the screen and get down in the comments. Let us know what you want to hear, the stories that you want to hear. I have many of them, all right? And you just got to remind me. Let us know in the comments if you agree with my list, if you disagree, but you weren't there. So I don't care if you agree or not. Sorry.